Hello everyone and welcome to another video in the Learn How to Read Chinese with Manga video series. If you'd like to know more about the series, go ahead and watch the first video where I talk about it more in detail. In this video, I'm just going to go ahead and jump straight right in, start analyzing, translating, and interpreting the sentences that you can see here on the screen. As always, or very frequently, Japanese and Chinese books written from top to bottom, right to left, so we proceed like this. I think in the last video we finished here, so we are going to continue here. Let me just zoom in. So first in Chinese, 没有写上死因的人将一律死于心脏麻痹。没有写上死因的人将一律死于心脏麻痹。Now in Neanderthal English, there is no or doesn't have written on death reason type of a person. So it doesn't have written on death cause or death reason type of a person. In nice English, the people who do not have a cause of death written and then in brackets next to their names, because we're talking about writing it into the death note. So, 没有 just means doesn't have. As always, 写 means to write, and 写上 means to. Shàng is this complement to many Chinese verbs, and I think I've talked about this before. And I just realized, well, I think I'm right, that we have this in English as well when we say take off, put on, show off, write down, for instance. And when it comes especially to write something down, I think this would be probably the closest one in Chinese. So write down, this down is has roughly the same function as shàng, which means on top in Chinese. So 写上, I guess you could translate for the ease of memorizing and understanding as to write down, although it's the logic behind this is slightly different than behind to write something down, and also the meaning is slightly different. But if this will help you understand the sort of the specifiers or the complements to verbs, this write down, 写上 kind of a pair, then yeah, if it helps you, then maybe you can remember it this way. So doesn't have written down, written down, 死因 death cause, 的 is type of a 人 person. 将一律死于心脏麻痹. 将 is, it just means will, but it's a more formal way of saying will. You can see it usually in documents and written Chinese. So for instance, you can see this very often in news articles, in contracts, and so on. And it's, if you are familiar with very formal written language in English, especially in contracts, then you know that the verb will is replaced very often by the word shall. Like party A shall bind itself to do this and this, and party B shall whatever. So this is very roughly what's going on here. So instead of saying 会 or 要, which is will, or is probably will, in Chinese or in Mandarin, you say 将, which means shall, basically. So, but we can just say will. 一律 means all, or all without exception, like totally all. 死, just a simple verb, 死, to die. 于 is a very, very complicated particle. In this case, it just means due to. So 死于, die due to. 心脏 is heart, and mábì is paralysis. So shall or will all die due to heart paralysis. Now, I thought it would mean something like heart attack, but heart attack you say in a different way, so it really means heart paralysis. So 没有写上死因的人将一律死于心脏麻痹. The people that have no cause of death written next to their names, in brackets, shall all, without an exception, die due to heart paralysis. Continue. 写完死因之后，有6分40秒的时间可以记述更详细的死亡过程。写完死因之后，有6分40秒的时间可以记述更 详细的死亡过程。So, 写完 means finish writing. 写 again to write, and 完 is a complement again, a specifier to the verb to write, just like shàng is to write down. So this is 写完 means to finish. A little bit difficult to sort of apply the same logic as I told you here. Write down is roughly the same as 写上, because it's not, but it's easier to remember if you like. It's easier to remember the function of shàng if you know that it roughly means write down, the same thing that down means in write down. 写上 shàng means in 写上. But then you have a situation like this one where it's 写完, which means finish writing, and you don't really have an equivalent like that in English, so it's difficult to parse. But it's easier probably maybe to just remember that 写完 just means finish writing. And if you really want to go into technical details, 写 means to write, and 完 means to finish, and 完 is just a specifier of how this process of writing developed, and it developed in a way that it finished. So 写完, finish writing. 死因 cause of death, same thing that we have here. 之后 means after. So 写完死因之后, after having finished writing the cause of death, 有6分40秒的时间. 有 means there is. 6分 means 6 minutes, and 40秒 is 40 seconds. So there are 6 minutes and 40 seconds 的时间. The in this case I would translate as of, and 时间 is just time. So there is 6 minutes and 40 seconds of time. 可以 you can, or it is possible. 记述 describe, or like talk about what's going to happen. 更 means more. 详细 detailed. 的 type of a in this case. So in this case it was just of. In this case I would translate it as type of a. 死亡 is death, and 过程 is process. So you can describe more detailed type of a death process. All right. So now the whole thing all together. First in Neanderthal and then in nice English. So finish writing death cause after there is 6 minutes 40 seconds of time. It is possible to describe more detailed type of a death process. All right. And in nice English, after having finished writing the cause of death, there are 6 minutes and 40 seconds to continue more in detail to describe more in detail the death process. So we continue on the next page. We zoom in. So here we go. First, let me read this in Chinese, and then I'll again go word by word and translate and interpret. 意思是说可以决定让对方安乐死或是痛苦的死去。意思是说可以决定让对方安乐死或是痛苦的死去。or 呵, not sure which one really they meant. It's just again one of those characters that describe sound. So he either said 呵 or something like that. 意思是说, 意思 means meaning, 是 means to be, and 说 to say. So meaning is to say in nice English. So what they want to say is 可以决定, it is possible. 可以 means you can, or it is possible to, and we don't know who, so it's just it is possible, or you can, but he's not really talking to you. He's just using this you as this general thing, general pronoun to say people. Yeah, so people can, you can, it is possible to. 决定 to decide, 让 let 对方 the object, or the person who's on the other side, so basically the person in question, or whoever is going to be killed by this guy, or whoever is using the death note. 安乐 is peacefully. 死, so 安乐死 is die peacefully. 死 is to die, so die peacefully. 或是 means or. 痛苦 is like in a suffering, something like that, or yeah, suffering or difficult suffering, I would say. And the is basically making it an adverb, so the same thing as hyphen ly, so speedily, or I don't know, I can't think of any adverb right now, that's funny, with an ly at the end. Speedily, okay, so just let's stick with speedily. So 痛苦 means suffering, and if you add the de at the end, it means sufferingly. So sufferingly, 死去, 死 is to die, and 去 is again like a specifier, but in this case, it's just, I would translate it as to kill or to let someone die. Like to 去 means to go, so 死去 die go. It just means to sort of like to kill someone. Like I would translate it like that. But if you want to know what's going on in here, like technically, 死 is to die, 去 is to go. So die go just means just to let that person die. So 他意思是说他 so it is to say it is possible to decide to let there should be a little weather in English in between that, because that it would be like more smooth in English. So it is possible to decide whether to let the person in question or the object peacefully die or sufferingly die. Okay. 恶作剧还设想得这么详细，搞得跟真的一样。恶作剧还设想得这么详细，搞得跟真的一样。恶作剧 means prank. And I was trying to analyze this word. So 恶 means like evil or malicious. 恶作 is like maliciously done or evil deeds. And 剧 is a spectacle like you see in theaters or something like that. So 恶作剧 is like this mischievous act or something like that, but in English we say prank. Hai means it has a lot of meanings. It can mean still, it can mean yet, and in situations like this it accentuates the tone. As it's really difficult to translate. I will try to translate the sentence like more smoothly and fluidly, and hopefully you will just by feel understand what this hai means, because as a single character it just means yet, still, and then other meanings, but in this case it doesn't. You will see. 设想 means to design. It's basically, okay, this thing is a sort of like a grammatical verb or a particle, and it's so 设想 means to design, and the is then going to tell you basically that whatever continues is describing how the design happened or will happen. So it's specifying the verb. Now this was a very technical explanation, and I don't like technical explanations, so I will just assign it a sort of like an English term, an English word, so you will see how it works. When you get like a Neanderthal translation, maybe it will be clearer. So design in a way this much detail. So prank, designed, or so that it is, let's try so that it is this detailed. And luckily we have another the over here, so you can compare the two. 搞得跟真的一样. 搞, it means to do in a more like informal way, or almost I would say vulgar. So done in a way. Gun means with, so done in a way with real. 真的 means real. 一样 the same. Now, let me try to go again Neanderthal way one by one, so that you can develop the feel for that, and then I will give you the nice English translation. So prank, designed in a way this detailed, done in a way with real the same. So in nice English is that like a prank designed this in so much detail, like to design a prank in this much detail, it's it looks like it's almost like it's real, like it's not a prank. So prank designed in a way, this much detail done in a way with real the same. And then this high, let me try to think about how I should, difficult to like really or something like that, or it's just really accentuating the feel of how he's surprised, or that this prank is has been designed in so much detail that it looks like it's real. That's the only way. I mean, I can, as close as I can get to interpreting this. There will be many other instances of this later, so maybe there will be a sentence where I will be able to interpret it, translate it better. But here it's lost in the context. But we continue. 写上名字，那个人就会死，无聊。写上名字，那个人就会死，无聊。写上 write on, or like we said, write down before. 名字 is a name. 那个人 that person or that piece of a person 就 thus 会 will 死 die. So so if you write a name, we should have a little if over here, but in Chinese you don't need it because it's from the context, it's or from the structure of the sentence, it's clear that there should be an if, but you don't say it. So writing down, or maybe we can translate it like this. So writing down, or having written down a name of a person, having written down a name, that person thus will die. 无聊, boring. And the last page for this video. 5天后, 5 days later. 5 is 5, 天 is day, 后 is after. So 5 day after in English, 5 days later. 5天后. Bye bye, it just means bye bye, written in Chinese. Bye as a single character means to pray. But if they want to say bye bye, the English bye bye, they just write it like this. It's, someone started using it for fun, and it just took off because people liked it. So now it's bye bye. It's written like this. 我回来了. I came back, or I'm back. 我 is I, 回 means to return, 来 is to come, and 了 is this sort of marker of past, somehow, not in all cases, but this is the closest I can get to an English explanation. So I return, come, and did. But if you are like me and don't like these explanations, then you just remember that 我回来了 is a very, very, very frequent thing Chinese people say, and it just means I'm back. So 我回来了 is the same thing we say. I'm back, y'all. I came back. I'm back, basically. And then 回来了, la is and this is just my interpretation. So if there is any native speaker of Chinese, and this is very, very very nitpicking what I'm gonna say right now, but bear with me. Again, we just have so this light. This guy is saying 我回来了, I'm back, and a return, like a sort of like a reply to that, in Chinese is a very frequent thing that people say. They just repeat what you said. So you say 我回来了, I'm back, and the other person who's in the room says 回来了, like, yeah, you're back. But it's just it's really difficult to explain because we don't have this. Like when you come back home and you say I'm back, I'm home, no one says home or you're home. But in Chinese they do. So you say 我回来了, I'm back, or I'm home, and they say 回来了, like, yeah, you're back. It's sort of a way of saying hello and hello when you come back home. But as you can see over here, we have 回来 means to return and come. So they said again return and come, but they didn't say le, they said la. So of course they couldn't say 我 because he says 我回来了, like I'm back. So whoever is home cannot respond to this person, I'm home as well. That doesn't make any sense in Chinese either. But they just say 回来了, like go back or something like that. And instead of finishing it with le, they finished it with la, which is I would say it should be le, but because it's just, it loses its function, like I said, because it's just such a frequent thing. It's like almost like saying hello or something like that. That people when they pronounce it, they instead of saying le, they say la, which is written like this in Chinese. So this character over here is pronounced la, and it's again one of those characters that represent sound. So if you want to say la 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 in Chinese, you basically write these three characters. If you want to write la 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 in Chinese, you use these three characters. So this one is pronounced le, in pinyin written le, and this one is la, in pinyin written la, with a marker of the first tone above it. And again, like, this is nitpicking, but what I'm thinking is this should also be hui lai le, but since it's like a reply to a very, very frequent thing people say, instead of saying hui lai le, they say hui lai la. I'm just guessing that it's a deformity of pronunciation of something that is used very, very, very frequently. So again, if there are any native speakers of Chinese watching this, please tell me if I'm right or wrong. But this is my 解读, my understanding of the situation. All right, and we continue. This is, so we continue from here to this square. He says, oh. So these two characters, again, they represent sound. One of them is pronounced oh, and two of them together is like oh, a long oh, and if you have five, then it's just oh, a very long one. And I'm guessing this is the mom saying it. So because he came back, and what's going to happen, he's going to give her the results of his math test or whatever test he has been writing. And his mom, expecting, because she knows he will have great results, she's like excited, and she says, oh, you know, he's like looking for that test. And then he gives her the paper and he says no, which is basically another character only representing a sound. And it means sort of here you go, or something like that. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, constructive comments, please leave them in the comment section. I will talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.